a ship adrift beneath the tropical sun, and aboard it, the entire crew dead. Lying on their backs, eyes wide open, mouths twisted into a mask of terror, as if in their final second they had seen something no one could bear to witness. Not a single wound, not a drop of blood, no sign of a struggle, just faces frozen in panic. And a dog also dead on the deck. This is the case of the Ourang Medan, perhaps the most chilling ghost ship story of the 20th century. And stay to the end, because the real mystery isn't how that crew died. The real mystery is whether that ship ever existed at all. Let's start with what the legend says. According to the most widespread version, on June 28, 1947, several ships in the area received a distress signal from the SS Ourang Medan. Transmitted in Morse code, the message froze the blood. It read, "SOS from the Ourang Medan. We drift. All officers, including the captain, dead in the chart room and on the bridge. Probably whole crew dead." Then silence, or almost. A stream of unintelligible dots and dashes followed, and then came the second and final message from a doomed radio operator. It simply said, "I die," and nothing more. Two American ships, the City of Baltimore and the Silver Star, were the first to respond. According to the account, when they located the vessel, the crew of the Silver Star saw that the Ourang Medan looked outwardly normal, adrift, with no visible damage and no signs of emergency. But once they climbed aboard, everything changed. The decks were strewn with corpses. Every body, including the ship's dog, lay face up, faces turned to the sky, mouths open, eyes staring into nothing, as if caught in the grip of pure terror. And astonishingly, not one body showed any physical injury, no blood, no visible wounds. Whatever killed them had not been violent. There's one detail that appears again and again in the story. The radio operator had died at his seat, his finger still resting on the key used to send the Morse message. And another detail, even more unsettling. As the rescuers moved deeper into the ship, they noticed the air was sharply cold, and a strange icy sensation seemed to hang over the scenes of death. Cold beneath the scorching tropical sun. Here comes the climax. According to the account, the tragic ending only deepened the mystery. The rescuers decided to tow the ship to port, but before they could, smoke began rising from the cargo hold. They were forced to cut the tow line and evacuate before it blew. Moments later, the Ourang Medan exploded in a huge ball of fire and sank to the bottom of the ocean. With it went every body, and every piece of evidence. End of the legend. Now the interesting part begins. Because when investigators pulled on the thread fell apart in their fingers. First problem, the ship. The SS Ourang Medan does not appear in Lloyd's Register, one of the most important and respected ship registries in the world. The absence of a vessel from such a key maritime record casts doubt on whether it ever existed. And it's not just Lloyd's. No records of the Ourang Medan have been found in the Netherlands either, or in any other country. Second problem, the star witness. Although the Silver Star did exist, its logbooks record no distress call, no rescue attempt, and no fire. In other words, the only real ship in the entire story, according to its own documents, never lived through that rescue. Third problem, and this is where it all collapses, the dates. Most versions place the event in 1947 or 1948. But one discovery changed the investigation completely. In 2015, English amateur historian Estelle Hargraves dug through pre-war British newspapers and found that the Ourang Medan story had already appeared in several British papers, including the Daily Mirror, the Yorkshire Evening Post, and the Hampshire Telegraph in November 1940. These are the oldest printed references to the case. Read that again. November 1940, 7 years before the supposed tragedy of 1947. And that 1940 version was different. The incident happened southeast of the Solomon Islands. The rescue ship had no name but was British, the wording of the distress call was different, and there was no survivor reaching land in a lifeboat. Over time, the contradictions multiply. Most sources cite 1947 or 1948, but the British papers ran the story in November 1940, saying the sinking had happened in November 1939. Dates that don't add up, places separated by thousands of miles, from the Strait of Malacca to the Marshall Islands by way of the Solomons. So where did all of this come from? Here's the key. Although the British accounts were the most widely read, the story appears to originate in a series of 3 articles in a Dutch-Indonesian newspaper. Those texts differ greatly from the British version in key details: the ship's location, its origin and destination, the cargo, the nature of the SOS, and the timing of the fire. That newspaper was De Locomotief. The story first appeared in print there, in a series of 3 articles published in February and March 1948, and every trail leads back to a single person. The journalist responsible, an Italian named Silvio Shirley, claimed the Ourang Medan had one survivor, an anonymous German who, he said, stumbled upon a missionary and told him his terrible tale before dying. The missionary, in turn, passed it on to Shirley, an anonymous survivor, an anonymous missionary, a chain of rumors impossible to verify, and the detail I love most in this whole story. The newspaper itself had doubts. Alongside the final article, De Locomotief included this warning: "This is the last part of our story about the mystery of the Ourang Medan. We must repeat that we have no other data on this mystery of the sea, nor can we answer the many unresolved questions." It may seem obvious that this is a thrilling sea novel. On the other hand, the author, Silvio Shirley, assures us of the authenticity of the story. Translation: even the people who published it suspected it was fiction. And yet the story didn't die. Quite the opposite. The best-known English version appeared in the May 1952 issue of Proceedings of the Merchant Marine Council, a publication of the United States Coast Guard, which for some gave it credibility. But be careful, even though it looks like a reliable source, that account is usually considered a collection of rumors rather than an official report. That's the trick. A rumor printed in an official bulletin suddenly looks like an established fact, but a rumor on letterhead is still a rumor. So what's left? There's no shortage of rational theories. The most repeated one, that the Ourang Medan was secretly carrying nerve gas, or some kind of chemical weapon, which leaked aboard and then ignited in the hold. It sounds convincing, until you remember that no one has explained how the crew of the Silver Star could board the ship among those poisonous vapors and walk away completely unharmed. The other theory, carbon monoxide, hits the same wall. That gas, colorless and odorless, could kill fast and leave no marks, which would fit the state of the bodies. But it doesn't explain the expressions of terror or the mysterious cold the rescue team described. And the reason none of it fits is simple: those scenes probably never happened. The verdict of modern investigators is blunt. The final proof lies in the historical documents, or rather in their absence. Generations of maritime detectives have found no evidence that a ship called the Ourang Medan ever existed in the Netherlands or anywhere else. Defenders of the mystery will say there was a cover-up, that the records were erased. Supporters of the chemical weapon theory often claim the whole affair was silenced and the documents destroyed. Not impossible, but it seems unlikely. So here's the takedown. The Ourang Medan is not the ghost of a crew scared to death. It's the ghost of a news story. A tale with no solid source, repeated and embellished decade after decade, crossing continents while changing its date, its place, and its details, until it looked like the truth. And even so, it keeps resurfacing in TV series, novels, and video games. It's simply too good a story not to lodge itself in the collective imagination. Maybe that's the darkest lesson of the Ourang Medan. Sometimes the most terrifying thing isn't what happened on a lost ship. It's how easily we can be made to believe it happened. And that mask of terror on the faces of the crew may have existed only at the tip of a pen.